Moving to the 4-3-3 in the second half, it's similar how the last game against New England played out. Did you ask your players to play in that formation any differently, to use any different tactics out of the formation?
No, I wanted to bring some fresh blood in, and I think also in that period we didn't really have the control anymore, and so that's why I changed it to the with four in the back because if you want to bring Tito, that has a responsible, for who's behind him, and he is not like Justin also does his defensive job. He does it, but he cannot do it in that discipline because he's a totally different player. So that's why I swapped to a 4-3-3, and I think it resulted also in that we get the control back and we created chances.
After with this being a rematch after the last game of the season, did it play out the way that you anticipated, and also just what you tell the team at halftime with it?
Well, I think both teams, learned quite a bit, from the last game that we played here. They didn't give that much space behind them, back. So because in our home game, the first game, we had every time we could have get a transition behind them, especially Joseph, of course, but also other times. And we trained on it. If they're gonna play again, really one against one. But also, I think we started really well to recognize that they didn't play one against one. The two center backs just stayed on the same line. So Barco was a lot of times free, between the lines, and we could find him a couple of times, and he was the most dangerous player at that period. I think after 30 minutes, we were a little bit sloppy with the ball, and they get some small chances out of that, but for the rest, I think we had the control, and we had some Barco had a good chance, of course. Joseph had a good chance, and maybe some half chances we had, but I think we had the control. And I said at halftime, if we continue like that, we're gonna create even maybe more chance of the same chance, and then we have to make one. And if we make one, they have to come. And but then, what I said, after 15 minutes, I felt that we didn't have the control, so I tried to change that with the system, and it helped.
You mentioned Barco, and he obviously played in place of Pity Martinez. Can you just talk through what you were thinking making that decision? Just the rationale.
Yeah, well, I have to make decisions, and right now I think with the three on the midfield, with Henman, Emerson, with Jeff, and and Darlington is a good balance, and then I have one spot left, on that position, and that's Barco or Pity, and now I'm choosing for Barco, and he's doing well, and so I didn't, or I have of course always choices, but for me, I didn't have reasons to change him for Pity.
Can you give us any information on Parkhurst's injury? And secondly, with only three healthy true center backs, can you continue to play 3-5-2 or 3-4-2-1 in the next round of the playoffs?
Did you play center back?
You do not want
Okay. No, well,
like
Michael
the Veracruz
Parkhurst,
game last
it's really, all bad news, but of course, his shoulder popped out and dislocated. But the worst thing is, it wouldn't go in back. So he was still in the locker room with his shoulder out. So and he had a lot of pain. So we went on the in the how do you call it, ambulance with his shoulder, still out. So you can imagine how painful that is. So. Yeah, normally, what I think then he's a couple of weeks out. So we have to think about how we're gonna solve this. Of course, we're gonna enjoy this victory, but tomorrow we're gonna have the result of the other game, who we play against, and then I'm gonna make my decisions who's going to play. But yeah, it's quite thin up there right now in the back.
And just as a follow up, when do you make the decision what formation you're going to play? Is it like days before, or is it after you see training and how things are going?
Of course, normally I will do that like 3-4 days before.
Okay.
When I think, okay, this is the best approach to get the best out of our team, but also the best for the result, of course. And of course, I'm gonna talk with players, how if they feel comfortable with it, So we were doubtful. I talked with the players also, because we trained with 4 and we trained with 3 in the back. And at the end, they said, okay, we want to play with 3. Okay, so that's our choice because they have to execute it on the field. So and it was also we did it quite well on training. So and we showed it the first half. Only the second half, yeah, I think we lost a little bit of control. So that's why I changed. So it's good that we trained it also, and they aren't surprised that suddenly okay, what do we have to do now? So it's good, that. A team can play different kind of systems because it gives the opponent, to think about, to worry about, and yeah, I think that's an advantage for us.
You said Heinemann brings a better balance to the midfield. What does he do compared to Pity that kind of balances things out in a better way?
Well, I think Pity is always the player on the number 10 position, and Heinemann is one of the 3 midfielders. So I think you can play with Barco and Pity, like we did with Minnesota. But, the discipline, what he does, also in defensively to be also in our box when he has to defend. Yeah, that's the balance that I'm searching for, Of course, you can play with players like that, but it's a big risk. And I know that he's very comfortable on the ball. Also, Emerson, I think he did great, and with Barco and with Darlington, and they are 3 players who really are comfortable, play small triangles together, and so I had no reason to change. And in the future, it can change, but right now, for me, this is for me right now the best balance on the midfield, but. Again, I'm looking to the opponent, and maybe next time I choose for a different balance.
First round of the MLS playoffs, how does it feel?
No, it feels good. This is the first of 4, so we've got to get our head down.
First round of the MLS playoffs, how does it feel?
No, it feels good. This is the first of 4, so we've got to get our head down. We'll look at this game, look back at it. Look at areas we can improve and get ready to go again on Thursday, I believe. So it's good, but we're not here to just win one. We're here to win a trophy, and that's after 4. So.
How did the tactical change help lead to the goal?
I don't know what happened. Yeah, honestly. Franco seems to pop up in weird moments at weird times, and it's a great finish. So I'm not asking any questions. We'll take it. We'll move on.
It looked a little chippy out there, especially with Michael Parkhurst going down.
Yeah, hopefully it's not too serious. He was obviously massive for our team. He was having a fantastic game, playing the first half in his 2v1. He sniffs that out. So hopefully it's not too serious, and yeah, hopefully it gets well sooner than later.
Did the game play out kind of the way you thought it would? There was so much talk after, with it being a rematch. How'd that shake out?
Yeah, for sure. Listen, it was never going to be the same as the league game, the last game of the season. It was never going to be like that. It was always going to be a game where we had to fight for everything. This game probably presented a few more challenges than if we were to play somebody else just because we had played them 2 weeks ago. So, everything and more. The playoffs, you put everything on the line. It doesn't matter if you're the 1st seed, 6th seed. It doesn't matter. Everyone starts even again, and you've got to find a way to fight through the adversity. I thought we rolled our sleeves up at times to battle, to show some grit, and that's an important quality going forward.
Missing Miles and to pull out a clean sheet without him, how big is that? How much confidence does that give you?
Yeah, it was useless, huh? We don't need Miles. No, I'm kidding. No, of course it's big. I mean, listen, the margins are going to be so fine in the playoffs, and so if you can keep a clean sheet, with the attacking players we have, we give ourselves more than half a chance to go and win the game. So we were able to do that today, and fortunately for us, Franco pops up with a good finish.
Did they do anything that surprised you with their tactics today?
No, not really. I think in the first half we struggled to get a grip of the game a little bit. When we're able to find Barco in little pockets and break lines, that's when we're at our best. And so, at times we did that, but we probably didn't do it enough. And so now, we've got to try and look at this game and whoever we're going to play on Thursday and find ways to make sure that we can create more going forward.
You're over 7-0 in tournament games at home this year. What's been the key to that?
I don't know. We talk about being a big club. We talk about wanting to win things. We talk about being a good team that can compete and win things. And so I guess when you put a trophy at the end of it, we, more times than not, we turn up. And so, listen, we're lucky to be able to play in front of the fans that we have and play in front of this atmosphere and call this home. And we've got 3 more to go. So it's good, it's great, but there's still more that we're wanting to achieve.
Is there a team particularly that's left that you'd like to face on Thursday?
No, it doesn't matter. Whoever we get, and we'll get ready.
Everybody talked about this week the mentality and training being really good. Did you see that carry over to game day?
Yeah, for the 2 days I was here, it was, listen, like I said, we're a team that we talk about being a big club and winning things. And when you put yourselves in the playoffs, when you put yourself in a competition, essentially what this is, with the single elimination, and everything's on the line. You've got to find a way to get a result, and we did that.
Brad, can you talk about the final minutes, the conversations you guys had laying down the man and getting through those, extra time?
Yeah, I thought that was, again, aside from I think a corner or two, they didn't have anything, and that shows our determination, our willingness to work for each other, our willingness to fight and scrap and battle. So that part was really good. So going forward, that's a good sign, of course, and something that we can build on.
That was the personality of the team last season as well in the playoffs.
For sure, and again, it's all or nothing in these games. That's what it's about. So you find a way. We did that today.
Last one.
Thanks, Wings.
Switching to back four about midway through the second half, was that always part of the plan coming out of halftime, or was that just
I didn't know about that if it was. I think in those moments, you end up making changes to obviously you have some tired legs. You have guys, we're starting to defend a little bit more than we'd like. We changed systems a little bit. We're able to get pressure higher up the field. And ultimately, Flo was able to win a few tackles, win a few head walls, and relieve us of pressure. So, whether it's 4, 3, 5 in the back, ultimately it doesn't matter. When you've got the guys on the field, you got to be willing to run and fight and do that, because we've got talented players that can go and win us the game, and we can play good football. But if you're not going to do the dirty work, then you're not going to give yourself a chance to win games.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Tough win, gritty win, but no win's easy in the playoffs, and we got one today, and we play again next Thursday, I think. So, got to be ready again to move on to the conference final.
Did the game play out kind of as you expected, as you thought it would, after having the rematch on Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, we knew it was going to be a bit more intense and a bit more, fight to it, and obviously they changed their game plan a bit, which I kind of expected, but ultimately, we came out with a victory, and it's really all that matters at this point.
What was that change that they made?
Just defensively, just limiting myself to space and getting the ball and being able to lift my head up. They even told me afterwards. So, but yeah, I mean, it's obviously I had some success in the game before against them, so I kind of figured that was coming. But ultimately we found some space through the left side and we created some chances that way, and I think we can score a few more goals. But ultimately just a 1-0 win, all that we needed.
Does that almost give you more confidence that you kept the clean sheet without Miles in the back?
Yeah, I thought Parker did a tremendous job, stepping in. I hope he's okay. Obviously very unfortunate to see him go down like that. But yeah, I mean, I thought all of us, even, we're better defensively, even myself, and Justin, where we needed to lock in a bit more, and I think we did that good. And now it's just worrying about the quality going forward as well, not forgetting about that, so we can score a few more goals. That would obviously be nice, but like I said, all that matters that we won.
Talking about the changes that they made, it seemed like you were playing a lot deeper, especially early. Was that a result of their game plan, or was that your tactics?
Yeah, it was a bit of both. Obviously early on, I don't want to go too high and kind of leave too much space, because I knew they obviously put in a pretty fast left back, and to get some more space to run into for them. So I tried to limit that offensively for them a bit, but at the same time, I thought maybe I could get the balls a bit deeper and not so high, and then be able to lift my head up a bit more, which happened a few times, but not too often. So. It was just I try to mix it up a bit myself as well, where, just some situations have worked, certain situations I should have probably been a bit higher, but, just gotta rewatch it and look at that, obviously.
Julian, what's the deal with Franco in the playoffs?
Escobar playoffs, and I don't know what the story is there. It must be a love relationship or something. I mean, I like that Escobar the most, It's definitely a good one for him to come out again and score a big goal, obviously, for us tonight, and should give him some confidence and move on to the next round.
Did things seem to kind of open up for you guys in the back, or across the entire field whenever you guys switched to a back four? It seemed like that seems to be the case whenever you're in the playoffs with Franco scoring.
Yeah, I mean, it's in that moment we just, like I said, we switched to back four. I was a bit more tucked in, and he just saw the space and just overlapped. Barker played a great ball. I don't know, you could ask him if he wanted to shoot it or not, but I mean, he said I think he says himself that he likes to go forward, and he's not shy to do that, and when he has a chance, even in a three-back, sometimes he overlaps me or on the inside, So I think in that moment it was obviously the perfect run and perfect pass and perfect.
Medio campo, precisamente un veterano como Jeff Lorenowitz que jugó bien en una posición difícil, ¿no?
Sí, el mediocampo tuvo un partido complicado, una batalla los 90 minutos. Todo el equipo tuvo una batalla los 90 minutos, un partido muy difícil, muy trabado, muy físico. Pero bueno, como te digo, tuvimos la suerte nosotros de ampliar el marcador y ganarlo.
Franco, segunda vez que anotas el gol, que le asegura el pase al equipo. ¿Cómo te sientes tú con esta gesta?
Nada, normal, qué sé yo. Mientras que el equipo, como te digo, y mientras que el equipo avance, eso es lo importante para mí. No estoy acostumbrado a hacer goles, pero bueno, mientras llegue alguno, bienvenido sea, y mientras ayuda al equipo, mejor. Pero bueno, después el gol que lo haga, que lo tenga que hacer.
English questions can come in and Manny can translate.
Franco, what is it about the playoffs for you?
¿Qué es?
Dale, habla en inglés, hermano, dale.
¿Por qué de repente en partidos de liguilla sobresales? ¿Qué es de los partidos de liguilla que aparece?
No sé, suerte. Trato de hacer mi trabajo lo mejor posible todo el año, pero bueno, se ve que el destino me marca para estos partidos, así que nada.
Tries to work just as hard as any other game, and somehow destiny, is for these matches. It tends to work, and the luck is on his side for these matches.
Lo preguntaron antes, ¿cómo fue el gol? ¿Cómo lo puedes describir el gol que marcaste?
No, por ahí en los entrenamientos, cuando Barco va de izquierda a derecha, siempre trato de meterme para él, la pelota que mete él. Y bueno, salió justo, lo vio el hueco, él la metió y después, bueno, por suerte, pateé dentro.
What does it mean for you to be there for your team in big moments like this and come up with a goal, the game-winning shot?
Para aquí, ¿qué tipo de sentimientos sientes cuando de repente en estos momentos eres el que sobresales?
No sé si soy el que sobresale. Por ahí muy contento por el gol, por el esfuerzo que se viene haciendo todo el año. Y nada, más que nada para ayudar al equipo y que podamos seguir avanzando en este torneo importante.
It just makes him happy, but really it's just all about helping the team.
You might have been asked about this. Sorry, can you just tell us about the goal, what you saw?
Que ya a lo mejor te pregunto, pero que si le puedes explicar un poquito de cómo fue la jugada del gol.
No, en los entrenamientos Ezequiel cuando va de izquierda hacia derecha, él tiende a meter un pase filtrado. Y bueno, por suerte vi la jugada justa, Ezequiel me vio, metió el pase justo y definí y por suerte entró.
He says it's actually pretty common to see it in training, Barco going from left to right and then having the hole to put a pass in. And nothing different than that, really. It's pretty common for him to see it during training, and luckily it worked out today.